Welcome to the Explainer. If you own a pool, man, you know the drill all too well. You meticulously test your water on a Monday, you carefully measure out your acid, you get the pH perfectly balanced, and then by Friday, it has mysteriously climbed right back up. It's incredibly frustrating, isn't it? Well, today, we're taking a true investigative approach to solving this rising pool pH mystery, once and for all.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. Number 1, the rising pH mystery. 2, calculating your pool volume. 3, natural methods to lower pH. 4, smart chemical hacks. And finally, number 5, when is it safe?
Starting with Chapter 1, the rising pH mystery, unmasking the culprits.
So why exactly does your pool's pH just keep rising? To treat this like a true detective case, we need to look at what's actually happening beneath the surface. It is the ultimate pain point, right? Adding acid on Monday only to stare down a high reading by Friday. But the real problem isn't just an annoying number on a test strip. High pH causes unseen and, quite frankly, expensive damage. We're talking about severe calcium scaling that crusts up your tile line and completely clogs your salt cell. And even worse, high pH actually inhibits your chlorine from doing its job, literally leaving your water totally vulnerable to algae and bacteria.
To really solve this, we have to look deeper, specifically at total alkalinity. Think of total alkalinity as your water's built-in buffering system. When it's too high, it acts like a stubborn, heavy anchor, constantly pushing and pulling your pH upward. If you're just pouring in acid to treat the high pH symptom without actually addressing your high total alkalinity, well, you're trapping yourself in a never-ending cycle of adding acid. So, what are the hidden culprits quietly pushing your pH up? Aeration is a massive one. It sounds totally harmless, but things like splashing, spillover spas, waterfalls, and tanning ledge bubblers actually push carbon dioxide out of the water, which naturally forces your pH up. Then we have saltwater chlorine generators. These create sodium hydroxide, which is a highly alkaline byproduct. And let's not forget high pH liquid chlorine inputs, the curing process of new plaster, which leaches alkaline materials, and even just starting out with high alkaline fill water straight from your garden hose. All right, moving to Chapter 2, calculating your pool volume, the blueprint. You simply cannot accurately dose your pool with a chemical fix if you don't know exactly how much water you're treating. It's impossible. So here is the blueprint for rectangular or square pools. Please don't let this feel like a daunting chemistry exam. It's just elementary math. You simply take the length of your pool, multiply it by the width, and then multiply that by the average depth. And here is the secret sauce, 7.5. Once you have that length times width times average depth, you just multiply it by the specific multiplier for rectangular pools, which is 7.5 gallons per cubic foot of water. Boom! That instantly gives you your exact total pool volume. And this brilliantly illustrates how things change for a circular-shaped pool or spa. The math is slightly different, but honestly just as simple. You take diameter 1, multiply it by diameter 2, and then multiply by the average depth. Now for circular pools, your magic multiplier is 5.9. Multiply those dimensions by 5.9 and you have the final piece of the volume puzzle. Now you're actually ready to calculate a highly precise treatment. Let's get into Chapter 3, Natural Methods to Lower pH, the Interventions. We're going to look at two distinct intervention paths today, starting with the natural mechanisms. This first method is arguably the most underused fix in all of pool care, but it directly tackles that high alkalinity root cause we talked about earlier. Step 1. Just drain 10 to 15% of your pool volume. Step 2. Refill it with lower pH tap water or reverse osmosis water. And Step 3. Run your pump for 6 to 8 hours to circulate everything, and then retest. By physically swapping out that highly alkaline water, you are literally removing the anchor. Now, it's fascinating to compare the natural options. Aeration is totally free, but it's slow, and it only lowers pH via CO2 off-gassing if your total alkalinity is stubbornly high, like above 110 parts per million. Compare that to direct CO2 injection. This is a serious, long-game investment, usually costing somewhere between $150 to $800 upfront. But it is incredibly fast, super precise, and get this, it can actually cut your long-term acid use by 80%. Then there's the choice between white vinegar and muriatic acid. Vinegar is natural acetic acid with a pH of around 2.4. It's a fantastic, albeit slightly pungent hack for small above-ground pools or hot tubs. But honestly, it's completely impractical for a large pool unless you want to pour in 10 gallons of the stuff.
Muriatic acid, on the other hand, is your fast, highly reliable chemical fix for larger bodies of water, though it definitely requires strict safety caution.
Which brings us to Chapter 4, Smart Chemical Hacks, the Cheat Codes.
So, the crucial point is knowing how to use chemicals wisely to save yourself some serious cash. In fact, one of the ultimate money-saving ironies in the entire pool industry is this. Alkalinity increaser and baking soda share the exact same active ingredient, sodium bicarbonate. You can literally just swap out those overpriced branded buckets from the pool store for plain bulk grocery store baking soda, and you will get the exact same chemical result.
Now, when you absolutely must use acid to lower your pH, here are your pro application tips. First off, consider using a product called Acid Magic. It produces 90% fewer toxic fumes than traditional dry acid, which is huge. Second, always mix a 1:10 water to acid ratio in a clean bucket before adding it to the pool. Third, and I cannot stress this enough, never mix acid with undiluted chlorine. That is incredibly hazardous. Finally, pour the diluted mixture in front of your return lines with the pump running and walk the length of the pool for a safe, even distribution.
To completely eliminate the guesswork, here is the exact actionable data. Seriously, take a screenshot of this. For instance, if your starting pH is between 7.8 and 8.0, and you know you have a 10,000-gallon pool based on our earlier math, you need exactly 1 pint and 3.2 ounces of acid to safely bring your pool down to the ideal 7.5. No more guessing, just pure science.
Oh, and let me throw in a super quick, cheap preventative hack while we are here. A $20 skimmer sock. It fits tightly over your basket and catches all that fine debris, pollen, and hair, ultimately saving your filter from immense wear and tear. But, and this is a massive caution, never leave it on when you go away on vacation. Because they are so effective at trapping debris, they can easily clog up entirely, causing your expensive pump to run dry and overheat while you're away. Nobody wants to come home to that.
Finally, Chapter 5. When is it safe? The all clear. Let's move to and see how this builds. We've investigated the crime scene, we've calculated our volume, and we've applied our fixes. Now, the most important question. How long until you can actually jump back in? This timeline maps out exact wait times so you don't have to guess. For algicide, wait just 15 minutes. For muriatic acid, give it 30 minutes to circulate. If you're adding pH or alkalinity balancers, wait a full hour. Liquid chlorine requires a solid 4-hour wait, and if you are doing a heavy pool shock treatment, you absolutely need to keep everyone out for a full 24 hours. So, I want to leave you with this provocative thought. Are you ready to stop chasing the pH number and start treating the actual cause? Armed with these investigative tools and calculations, you can master your backyard oasis, break the incredibly frustrating cycle of constant adjustments, and finally stop wasting your hard-earned money on the wrong chemicals. Thanks so much for learning with us today on The Explainer.